Join me to paint this beautiful winter night using watercolors. The sketch for this painting is provided here. You can pause the video and transfer it onto your watercolor sheet. We are going to wet the background now. I start by wetting at the horizon, which is at the end of the pencil sketch. And then I work my way upwards until I reach the top of the paper. After wetting the background, I apply a dark value of Payne's gray on the left and right side of the paper. For the middle section, I use a medium value of Payne's gray. This is because the salt technique we will use next works wonderfully when sprinkled on a dark value of pigment, as the darker tones makes the effect more pronounced and visible. At the end of this video, I will share the results of my first two attempts to give you a glimpse into the journey behind the process. Be sure to watch till the end to see how this painting came to life. After applying the pigment, tilt the board to let the excess paint flow towards the masking tape. Then wipe it off with a cloth. This step is crucial because we don't want any puddles of water on the paper. The salt technique works best when the paper has slight gloss but isn't too wet. So sprinkle the salt at just the right moment for the best results. I'm sprinkling salt on the left and right sides of the paper as well as above the wooden handrail of the bridge to create the effect of snow covered trees in the background. After sprinkling the salt, I use the back end of the brush to gently drag the wet paint downward to form the tree trunk. I'm adding a touch of perspective here, that is, the first tree appears closer to the viewer, while the second and third trees are positioned slightly farther away. On the left side, I'm keeping it simple by adding just one tree trunk. While the background is still wet, we will add some shadows to the foreground using the wet on wet technique. I start by wetting the foreground and then use indigo to paint the shadows. The shadows closer to the viewer are darker, while the shadows of trees that are farther away appear lighter and softer in value. While we paint the foreground, you can notice the salt on the paper gently creating the texture. Let it work its magic for a couple of minutes, and later we will carefully use a hair dryer to dry it completely. There is a gap between the wooden rail and the deck of the bridge, which I filled using a medium value of Payne's gray. To depict the snow on the wooden rail and the deck, I left some white areas as you can see in the video. The gap that we filled with indigo represents the sky, that is between the vertical bars of the bridge. The sky is visible, and that is what I have captured in the painting. After that, I allow the paper to dry completely. Once it's dry, I gently scrub off the salt from the paper. Next, I'm mixing Gambo Jello with permanent orange and add a small amount of paints gray to the mix. This is then used to paint the bridge. As I paint towards the bottom of the bridge, I gradually reduce the value of the pigment. When it reaches the ground, I want it to softly blend into the snow, creating a seamless transition. To create that blending effect with the snow, I use a damp brush for the final strokes. Next, I mixed a small amount of indigo with permanent orange to create a dark brown shade, which I used to paint the shadow under the bridge. With a lighter value of the same brown pigment, I paint the cast shadow beneath the bridge. Make sure there are no hard edges for the cast shadow. So, to soften this hard edge, I use a clean damp brush. Next, I'm filling the area beneath the bridge with a light value of indigo while leaving some white areas to represent the snow. Using the brown shade, which is created by mixing permanent orange with small amount of indigo, I paint the vertical bars of the bridge. Next, I paint the wooden rail, carefully leaving some white areas to represent the snow on it. Then I use the same brown to splatter on the pathway of the stream, creating the effects of stones and pebbles along the path. The stream is fully covered with ice and snow, so the splattering gives the impression of small stones scattered along the icy snow covered path. Finally, I add some details to the tree trunks and branches. We have reached the end of the video, and now let me show you my previous two attempts. I hope this motivates you to try the same painting a few times as it will give you a deeper understanding of watercolor. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more watercolor painting content. See you in another video. Until then, take care and bye bye from Prema.